I'm a retired FBI agent, and this is a conspiracy theory that keeps me up at night. In 2018, a treasure hunter tipped off the FBI to a large cache of buried, stolen Civil War gold in a rural part of Elk County, Pennsylvania. Now, the story goes, this treasure hunter had been looking into this since around 2011, probably further back than that. But his research showed that during the Civil War, a secret society known as the Knights of the Golden Circle, a group that operated in the North to sabotage the Northern efforts, one of them being to steal this gold that was on its way to the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and then hide it. Why they never went back for it, I don't know. This treasure hunter had been operating or doing his research and looking for this stuff, and he located a site that was on public land in Pennsylvania. And he was operating under the permission of the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. It's somewhere along the way, this treasure hunter and the DCNR had a falling out, and he follows this up and goes to the FBI. He told them, or however he convinced them, they took it seriously enough to hire an outside agency to go in and do some very high-tech survey of the property to see if there's any validity to this. And sure enough, retired FBI agent. And this is part 2 of a conspiracy theory that is still keeping me up at night. Over 2 million of you have watched my video on the FBI's search for stolen Civil War gold in rural Pennsylvania. And I got some new information on that really is troubling me about this case. So one of the things that many people that live, residents in the area near this, where this gold is, have said that the FBI works all night, that they had this equipment going all night long. Well, possibly what that could have been was, it was cold. They probably had heat, had generators out there to keep the tents warm that they were in. They had to maintain this property for the full 3 days, because once a search warrant is begun, the government technically owns that property. They have command and control of it. So they had to keep people out there 24/7 for this. That's not unusual. That's pretty normal procedure as well. However, some of the witnesses say that they were digging all night. So there's a difference between the sound of digging equipment and generators. Okay, so that's first off, that's a little funky. But let's just say that it was generators. Let's throw that aside. The other thing that the witnesses all said was that the FBI brought in, on the second day, armored cars. So what is that? What is an armored car? What do you mean by that? Could that be like a MRAP type military vehicle, or a Humvee? Or the more typical standard armored car that you see going to a bank to pick up cash or take cash to a bank or a casino, that kind of thing. So that was my question. I wanted to determine what they meant by armored car. And according to the witnesses who were shown photographs of various types of vehicles, they identified a standard armored car that you go to a bank, that you see where cash is, that is carried in when they take to a bank. So in 29 years in the FBI, I was in 3 field offices over that time frame. Never once did I ever see the FBI having need, use, or ownership of an armored car. It's just something that never arose. There was no need for it. We weren't in the business of that stuff. So when I started hearing this, and coupled with the fact that they claimed that there was no gold found, nothing found, then why do you need to bring in armored cars? In fact, a couple of witnesses even indicated that the armored cars coming out of there looked like they were heavily laden, like they were riding low. And they had closed off streets in that, so that these armored cars could get through there. If they didn't find anything, why do you need to do that? If it's just your equipment you have up there to do this digging, there's nothing about that. So that really troubles me. But then when you ask the real question is, well, the FBI had 25, 30 people maybe there. I don't know the exact number of people they had on scene. All of them would have to be in on this. And what would be the purpose? I mean, the government owns that gold. The FBI is the government. Why would they take this? There's still a lot of questions on this that are really, really troubling to me. And I'm going to get to the bottom of this thing. I'm going to stick with it. Many of you have asked questions and given comments and shown so much interest in this. I wanted to answer some of those questions. First being, why didn't the treasure hunter just dig this stuff up himself, the gold? And we're talking a lot of gold, worth a lot of money. He was prevented by law from actually digging this up. The land where this gold is on state land, owned by the state of Pennsylvania. And I don't know the full details as to why, but he could not legally dig that up. So he went to the FBI because he thought, well, this is stolen Civil War gold, or stolen gold that belongs to the U.S. government. The FBI would have jurisdiction. And that's another question. What gives the FBI jurisdiction to do this? Well, in fact, actually, I was skeptical of that myself at first because it's not anything that I had ever worked in my career in the FBI. But there actually is jurisdiction for it. There were a couple of federal statutes that appropriately give the FBI jurisdiction in this, and that's fine. So he went to them. The FBI gets a search warrant for this gold, and they go up, and over a 3-day period, they determine that they dig a big hole, and they determine officially there's no gold. We didn't find anything. It's fully documented. I've extensively read the file, and everything in there to me looks documented the way that it normally would be in a case like this, I guess. So what's the problem? What's compelling about this? Because a lot of times in many search warrants, you may think, you have very good information that you're going to find evidence there, and you don't. I mean, it's happened a lot of times. It's not unusual to not find something. One of the things I'd like to ask a favor of is we had a lot of response from Elk County residents. We want to hear from you guys with your stories, your questions, your comments directly. I want to get some firsthand information on this. Please email us at hello@texascrimetravelers.com, and please include your TikTok username on there. And so help us get to the bottom of this. I want to know more about it. I'm going to stick with it.